As more and more resellers enter the low-end card space, it's getting harder and harder to find things to buy to get resale value out of. In this video, I'm going to tell you some of the best things you can buy right now that have excellent resale value. Yo, 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 YouTube. Welcome back to the Dollar Box. My name is Adam. Thanks for joining us. In today's video, we're going to talk about some cards you can look for in value boxes that you might not think have a good resale. We have to get a little more creative these days with more competition in this market, and I think these will help give you a leg up. Common autographs. So many times we flip through these boxes and you see an autograph of a player you've never heard of, and you just pass on by and look for something else. That is something that is a good buy at the right price. I try to get all my common autos at 50 cents a piece or less. And then I charge anywhere from $4 to $5 per auto. So you get a pretty decent return out of those.
Autographs, 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 and we're done.
All right, let's look at our first sale for the day. This one is 3 Derek Jeter cards. I can dig them out here. I have all the cards pulled, but I didn't organize them in sale order, so I'll be doing that now. So these 3 2003 SP Derek Jeter base cards. Love it. Love selling quantities of cards. It's always a good thing. It's easy to pull. They're all in the same area. You get the quantity sale, so you're paying less fees than you would per individual card, and pretty simple to ship. So we're gonna use a card saver for that one since it's a little thicker.
Thicker than a Snicker.
The next thing I would suggest looking for would be cards from key sets. So not necessarily the star cards, you can even get the common cards, but from key sets. So early SPX, flawless base cards, Origins, Black. If you're looking at the more modern stuff, Metal from the 90s. Those cards have big collector communities, and even if it's a common base player where you wouldn't normally buy like their tops card, those sets might be worthwhile picking up those cards of.
Garrett, please. This is a hot set.
Okay, our next sale here is another multiple quantity sale. And this is 3 Joe Montana Provisions cards. I picked them up at the National for $1 a piece, and I sold those for $13.50. So a really nice sale there. And I think these will fit in a top load, a bigger top load. My next suggestion, ironically, kind of goes with the 2 sales I just posted. Not intentional, those were just the first 2 on the list, but that's to buy cards in quantity. If you find a card that you like, let's say this gold Dion wild card, and you can find it in quantity, buy 20, 30 copies of it if you can get a hold of it. You can sell more than one to a buyer, as you've just seen.
Quantity, people. Quantity.
It's one listing, and you just simply post the quantity, and the algorithm gets fed when there's a sale on a card. So if you have 20 copies of that and you sell a card, now it's automatically getting in front of more eyes because there was a sale on it. So there's lots of advantages to buying cards in quantity. All right, let's take a look at our next sale. Next sale is just a single card. It's a 2015 Topps Derek Jeter. Let me see if I can dig that out here. Okay, it's 2015 Topps Derek Jeter, and it sold for $2.50. So this would have, of course, came from, well, likely, I mean, I do buy some at shows, but likely this came from one of my big Derek Jeter lots where I pay about 50 cents a card. So not bad for a single card sale. To buy vintage commons. You want to buy them in quantity, get the right price for them, but you'd be surprised what kind of cards sell, what players. There's so many set collectors for vintage cards Some of those cards are getting pretty tough to find. I find have more success with football. There was a lot less printed than there was baseball. And you can kind of find them a little bit easier for a good price. So you might buy, a big lot of 500 vintage commons for $50, something like that, and that's a great way to do it. They're simple to list. You got the set down, you list that first card, and then you just keep pumping them out, out until you have them all listed. I do list each card individually because condition and centering and things can vary so much on a vintage card. So it's a little bit more work that way, but you will get sales of common cards for decent return. And speaking of that, my next sale is this Bob Jackson from the Browns, 1977 Topps football common, and I got $2.99 for this card. Now, in my example there, basically I paid about like 800. It was a big lot. I actually still have some to list. Vintage football cards, 70s football cards, and I paid like $80, I think, for 800 cards. So it was like a dime a piece, and I sell them for $3, so it's a pretty solid return. They don't all fly off the shelves. It's in that quantity, it's going to take you a while to sell some of them, but get them listed. You'll get a few sales, here and there, and it just helps round out your numbers every day. With your other hot cards you're selling, it helps fill in the holes to make sure you get a solid return for the day. So my next one is not going to surprise you, as I've been talking about this for quite a while, and you've seen I do quite a few sales in it, and that's non-sport cards. They can be difficult to find at shows, but I do feel like when I find them, I get good prices on them, and I find some really cool stuff that is nice to round out your store. It's fun to list, and it does have market. They do sell. So my next card is a non-sport card. It's Star Wars. It's 1977. The red, so the second series. This is Luke. This one, Luke destroys an Imperial ship, and I got $1.99 for that one. I regularly buy big vintage lots of Star Wars. I try to get them for 10 to 15 cents for the not first series cards. The first series cards are a lot more expensive. You're close to $1 or so a piece on those, but you get more money for them too. So but anyway, I got $1.99 for this. I probably have 10 cents in it. So um, after fees, everything else, probably looking at about $1.
Everything for a buck.
Look for promo cards. I find this probably more regularly with non-sport cards because they do more market testing. They'll make a few promo cards, give them out at Comic Cons, whatever, to see if people are interested in the card sets. But there's definitely sports ones too, especially from the 90s. They did a lot of pre-production cards, promo cards, things like that, they'd put one in a magazine and send it out, because back then there was no internet. So you made a nice promotional card, you sent it out, you got people excited about the set, and then hopefully that would help you sell some cards. But those are great cards. They're not printed as highly, obviously. They were just meant for promotional use in most cases, and their collectors love that stuff. Things that you couldn't just pull out of a pack, that was overprinted like everything else. Again, especially with the 90s, and there's good market for that, and you can make some decent money on it. And a lot of times you can find them cheap in value boxes. All right, my next sale kind of goes back to what I just talked about earlier, and that's checklists, especially vintage checklists, unmarked checklists. So here's I don't even know what year this is, 76 maybe? 71, early one. 1971 checklist, football checklist. It's for the second series, no marks on it. It's in pretty decent shape, some white on the corners, off-centered, of course. But I got $4 for this. And I can usually find some vintage or some. I can usually find checklist cards for a quarter or less. And if you get them at shows, it's great because you get to look at them, see if they're marked, things like that, and evaluate if there's going to be a good return. All right, and then last but not least, and it kind of goes with this next sale I'm going to show you as well, but look for unconventional cards. And what I mean by that is cards that come out of magazines, Sports Illustrated for Kids, which is what my next sale will be, I will show you is, look for non-conventional sports, boxing cards, golf, soccer to some degree, as it's not as big around here, but has a world market, cricket, Olympics, things like that. Look for that kind of stuff. They're usually, again, thrown in discount bins, but there are buyers out there for them. And if you're listing them, there probably isn't a lot of other people listing them, and it makes it real easy for you to get sales in the market on those. All right, so my next sale is for Sports Illustrated for Kids, Scoot Henderson, Sports Illustrated for Kids. I just talked about these. I bought 6 issues of this Sports Illustrated for Kids magazine, which is out currently. It's the current issue for $6 per magazine. I now have subscriptions, so hopefully going forward, that price will come down a little bit. But I had one buyer buy the last 4 that I had, and I got $11.96, basically $12 for them. So for the price of 2 magazines, I sold 4 cards.
Where's my Sports Illustrated?
That also fits my recommendation earlier of buying quantity. I had 6 of those. I've sold all 6 of them now. It's also a hot card. I don't think he has a lot of cards out there, which is another nice thing about Sports Illustrated for Kids. A lot of times they're the first card. The Victor Wembanyama card, his very first card was a Sports Illustrated for Kids card. Sells extremely well. All right, let's do a couple more sales and then we'll conclude this video. So the next one is a Dan Marino card. I think that's the only one.
There can be only one!
Yep, sold a Dan Marino single card here. I got $2.50 for this. So like I said, you'd be surprised what you can sell for decent money. And I buy lots of these superstar players here and there, common lots, 100, 150 cards for $5-6. Just great buys. Just sock them away, get them listed, and they'll get plucked out here and there as people want them. All right, we'll do 2 more orders, and then I'll let everybody go from this video, and then that'll be the end of this video, and I'll go back and get the rest of them packed. So the next one, if you watched my last video, I kind of talked about this. I pay up a bit for these first edition Star Wars 77, or first series, I should say. But there are cards that are worth more money in it as well. This I sold for $16. So not a bad sale for just a base card from that time period. And of course, this is Princess Leia, and it is Princess Leia's first Star Wars card, ever printed card. So
Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan.
and that's why it has the value that it has. Okay, the last order I'm going to show you, a very interesting one. So I have these 3 cards that sold. There's a Steve Young Stick'ems, a Jerry Rice Purple Select Die Cut, and an SPX 2003, I think. Those sold pretty well, $10.97. Those got bought off of the first coupon I ever sent out to customers. 20% off if you buy 3 or more cards. So they got a decent price. It was nice for me. I sold a bunch of stuff that kind of sits around, doesn't sell that well, that I didn't pay much for. And I get to ship them all together. The person also bought this metal 1995. Was this 95? 94? 95 Topps Finest Metal Jerry Rice card for $20 plus 20% off. So let me see here. Yep, and I charge shipping for this one, so that works out great because these essentially will shipped for free because shipping was paid for on this one. So nice little order there of a Jerry Rice fan who wanted some nice Jerry Rice material. I'm going to get that packed up and we'll get that sent out. This is obviously going to go in a bubble mailer. What I do with these, because I've bought these in the past, I bought a nice lot of them a while ago, but I'm kind of running out. I think this was my last like star player. I think I have some Rick Myers left, but I don't have any of the Rice or the Favre or any of those left. I think there was Aikman maybe. I don't remember who's all in it, but thanks again so much for watching. I couldn't do any of this without your support. Really appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to see future videos. Ring that bell if you want to be notified of any future videos. I can't wait to bring you more and more content and keep growing the channel. I'm also looking at making some plans for next year to do some more traveling to different shows. So not just in my area, but getting to at least some surrounding states for the first year, getting some content from some different shows, some different shops. I think that would be a lot of fun, but doing it dollar box style. So not necessarily interviewing the shop owner or anything like that, just going in, seeing what they've got for value box layouts and seeing what gems we can find in the boxes. I think that would be a lot of fun. So thanks again so much. We'll see you again soon.